Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So a little bit different video today. As you know, I've done my collection updates for Star Wars and Star Wars books in the past, and I am predominantly a Star Wars channel here, but like I said when I did my Superman review and spoiler review, I've always been a huge fan of comics. I wanted this channel, and really this channel kick-started with a lot of Batman coverage. I've always wanted this channel to cover all of my interests, not just Star Wars. And so today for you, I have something adjacent to the collecting element of the channel, and it's going to be CGC comics. So I have a bunch of comics I have wanted to send in to get graded to CGC. A lot of these are older comics that I've had for a long time. Some of them I've acquired recently. I'm going to show you guys all the ones I'm about to send in to CGC. I'm going to give you my grade prediction. I want to hear your guys' prediction for what grade I'm going to get. I am by no means a professional grader, nor do I pretend to know exactly what I'm talking about. When it comes to comic book grades, I've only ever sent 2 comics off to get graded on their own, purely because they're so expensive, so I want to know the ones I send are really going to elevate their value and stay protected. This first one was the best find I've ever had at a flea market. I acquire most of my comics at the flea market. It was Batman Adventures number 12, the first appearance of Harley Quinn, and this is a 9.6 out of 10. I paid $1.50 for this comic book before grading, obviously, so this is one of my prized possessions. Absolutely love this, so I'd love to get something back that's around this grade. The second one I had sent in to get graded in the past was a copy of Captain America number 117. This is the first appearance of Falcon. I got a 5.0, which is not a horrible grade for a book like this. This is from 1969, so anything usually between a 4 and an 8 still has some value, and it was still worth getting it graded. I personally just thought this was going to do better. I was expecting kind of a 6 to a 7. So without further ado, let's get to the first book, and this is the one that is really the impetus for me sending these in to get graded. And this is a copy of Action Comics number 340, the first appearance of Parasite. So as you can see, I'll be showing you a bit more of a close-up of the comic here. Out of all the books you'll see in this video, this was one of the few that I bought from a comic store. At least out of the vintage comics you'll see here, this is the only one I bought from a comic book store. I paid around $50, which was half price. I got it on a half price day. They were asking $100. They had it valued at very fine, which is usually an 8.0. And right off the bat, looking at it, I mean, it's a pretty impressive cover. There are very few color breaks, just a few on the spine. I see one little tiny crease in the top right corner, maybe something that could get pressed out a little bit, but it does break color slightly. The white on the back is where I'm most concerned. It does have a little bit of dirtying. Again, not really an expert, so I'm not 100% sure what will come out with CGC's pressing, and I do plan on getting this book pressed. It might come out with the dry cleaning, but I'm not really sure about that part. In terms of creases or folds or anything on the back, it's pretty great back here. No tears, no creases that break color. It looks really nice. And then on the inside, it also looks very good. The pages are all together. The staples are nice. I think this looks really good on the inside. No writing or anything like that. I kind of don't trust myself with these older books, purely just because I got burned. I kind of felt like on Captain America 117. Although again, I'm still pretty happy with my 5. But with this, something I'm already $50 in, and to get this graded, it's going to cost, you know, another $75. I'm hoping for at least a 7.5 on this book. Let me know if you think it's going to get at least a 7.5. Very fine, should be an 8, but I'm trying to give myself a little bit of cushion for disappointment. The next oldest book I'm going to be sending in is a copy of Detective Comics number 300. This is the first appearance of Polka Dot Man, and this book's gone up ever since The Suicide Squad from James Gunn. So as you can see here, this book is not nearly as clean as the Action Comics 340. There are plenty of color breaks from creasing on the front. There's also a bit of spine roll, which they say comes out with pressing, so hopefully that does. Staples are still intact nicely, and the colors still pop. On the back, everything still looks good as well, just still continuing with the creases and the folds that you see normally on a book of this age. I actually got this at the same yard sale that I got Captain America 117, and the guy had this graded as a very good minus, which on the CGC scale is a 3.5. Now, I looked this one up on eBay to make sure it was worth, you know, spending about $50 to $70 to get it graded. On eBay, I saw 1.5s to 2s still selling for a couple $100, where anything around the 6 to 7 range was going for 6, 7, $700. So I think this is worth a grade. If it gets a 3.5, I would value it probably in that $200-ish range, $250. I'm a huge Batman fan, so I kind of want to preserve this one. I always love preserving things that I've found personally in the wild. So I do plan on sending this one in to get graded. Let me know what you think it'll get in the comments. Next up is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 121. This is the death of Gwen Stacy, a massive key for Spider-Man fans, and this was another flea market purchase, $3. This one's in pretty rough shape though. If we look closer at it, you'll see obviously the spine roll, which is something again supposed to come out impressing, but there's a lot of color breaks on the spine. I'm not sure how much of that will kind of improve because it's not fully washed out, but it's a little bit kind of like rubbed. It looks worn. Then there are some creases and color breaks on the right side. Definitely lower right corner, you have a bunch of creases that break, and because this is a yellow cover, they stand out even more. You have some minor tears on the outside as well, and then you kind of have what looks like watermarking. And then on the back here, it's the same as well. You've got a lot of creasing, some of which might come out with a press. It is a little dirty back here too, so I'm not sure how much of that will come out with the dry cleaning. But then when you get to the bottom here in the corners, you have some obvious stains here, which will definitely bring the grade down, and some other spots as well along the bottom. So that was Amazing Spider-Man number 121. Let me know in the comments if you think I should send that one in to get graded. That one is the most like 50-50 on, because that qualifies as a vintage book, so it's going to cost in like the $50 to $70 range, you know, depending on how much I decide to save with shipping. If you send in more, you obviously get a little bit more bang for your buck with shipping. It is a book that's highly sought after. I have seen 1.5s on eBay going in the $150 to $200 range. If I had to guess, mine's a 1.5 to 2.5, so I'm really not sold on whether I should send this one in or not. Let me know in the comments if you think I should. Moving on to the modern comic books that I'd like to send in, and these ones all look really, really nice. I have been torn on getting modern comics pressed. I got the Harley Quinn pressed just purely because of how high the value would be if it went up a few notches. The first book I'd like to send in is a copy of Batman number 6. This is the New 52, Batman Volume 2. I paid half price for this one as well. They were asking $10 at the comic store. I paid $5, and I picked this up a long time ago, probably 2017 or 18. This is the first appearance of the Court of Owls, who have been rumored for a long time to be in Batman movies. I think they will appear in one sooner rather than later. One of my favorite Batman story arcs of all time too, so it has a little bit of that sentimental value. Personally, when I look at this Batman number 6, I don't really see any flaws. This looks like something that came straight off the shelf, went straight into a bag and board. Even though I didn't personally buy it right when it came out, I still think this looks phenomenal. I don't see any world in which this is not at least a 9.6, but hoping obviously for that 9.8, especially for a book this new. Next up, we have another flea market purchase. This was $1 at the flea market, and this is Amazing Spider-Man number 361, the first appearance of Carnage. So here everything just looks perfect on this cover. Even the whites are super white and stand out. There are zero creases or bends, no color breaks whatsoever on the cover here. There's only one tiny flaw, and it is this staple in the upper left hand corner. Staple is a little bent. I am planning on getting this book pressed. I really don't know if it means that staple will get fixed or not. I doubt it. Looking on the back here as well, it is pretty flawless too. I think this is an obvious 9.8 candidate. It just is all about that stupid staple. Next up, we have another one that's kind of popular right now, another flea market purchase for $2 back in the day. This is Booster Gold number 1, the first appearance of Booster Gold. Obviously, the rumors that Booster Gold is getting a TV show has made this book a lot hotter. I hope it's great because I love the Booster Gold character. I think this book's in phenomenal shape. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't score at least a 9. Everything on the cover looks great. Maybe a slight amount of spine roll or slightly uneven here with the pages. I think that's something that could get fixed in a press, but there are basically no color breaks and pretty much no flaws at all with the front cover here. Let's look at the back cover here as well, and it is pretty much flawless back here as well. One slight little bump here in the top left corner, a minor crease or so, but it doesn't really break color, something that might get ironed out in a press, but that's the only real flaw with this book. These are the modern comics that I would love to send in, but I'm a little bit torn on. They're not as high value unless I get 9.8s. Outside of this one, my copy personally isn't that great, but it's still a key issue and I think would be worthwhile getting graded. and that is my copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 194, the first appearance of Black Cat. This was another like $3 book for me. I bought basically every issue of Amazing Spider-Man from around issue 150 all the way through like issue 210. So there were a few great keys in there, and amongst them was obviously the Black Cat issue. I'm just not sold that my copy is nice enough to get graded. I can't tell what this is going to be. My guess would be around a 4. If it got at least a 6, I think it would be worth getting it graded. So as you can see here on Amazing Spider-Man number 194, there are a lot of indents here. That's stuff that the press does claim will come out. So this book could honestly really transform with the press. But as you can see, there are still some spinal creases that do break color a little bit. That type of stuff won't get fixed. And on the right edges, there are some color breaks that definitely won't come out. And if you look here on the bottom left corner as well, there are a few dings and color breaks on the spine that I think will bring the grade down dramatically. As you can see, the back doesn't look too bad. It could use a little bit of a cleanup. The top corners are pretty good. And the bottom right corner here is not too bad as well. It's just this bottom left corner back here, it does have a crease. Doesn't break color, something that will probably get better with pressing, but not completely fixed. Another one that I think will get hotter and hotter as we get closer to 2027 is the first issue of Secret Wars. This is the 80s version of Secret Wars. And again, this is not an issue that's very hard to find, but this is an issue that's in fantastic shape. Because this is in such good shape, I think it has 9.8 potential, which is why I'm even considering getting it graded. Another one I'm not 100% sold on, but a 9.8 of this goes for a pretty good amount too, and that's the first issue of the Deadpool series, and this is in fantastic shape as well. Another 9.8 dependent comic is Venom Lethal Protector. This used to be so common, used to be able to find this anywhere, but this cover is so great and so iconic that it's become a little bit hotter of a book. Also, a lot of people re-falling in love with Venom again. This one is a little bit higher on my list of things that I think are worth sending in, because even a 9.6 of this, 9.4 of this should still carry value. Next up is my copy of Venom number 3. This is the first appearance of Null. This is the Comic-Con or convention exclusive variant. As you know, I'm a big Star Wars fan, and so the last couple here I'm going to show you are Star Wars comics. But here's a really high copy of Darth Vader number 3. This is the original printing. We're down to the last 2 I'm thinking of sending in, and this is probably the most valuable Star Wars comic I have to send in, and that's a copy of Kanan, or Kanan the Last Padawan, issue number 6. This is technically the first appearance and first cover appearance of all the Rebels characters minus Kanan, who obviously is in the entire series. And finally, another one that this one is probably the one I'm most tepid on sending in to get graded from the modern books, but it is a copy of Rogue One number 1. This is obviously the first appearance of every character from Rogue One, but it's gotten a little bit hotter after the Andor show because it's the first appearance of Cassian Andor and K2SO. So what do you guys think? Let me know your grades of all my books in the comments. What do you think they are going to get CGC, and which ones do you truly think are worth sending in? If you want to see more videos like this where I take comics from my collection and we analyze them together, see if I should send them in to get graded, let me know in the comment. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.